So we just went over an example of indirect proofs or writing a proof using indirect reasoning. But for any indirect proof, there's 3 steps that you need to follow. And then here are each of the 3 steps. The first step is to assume the opposite of what you're trying to prove is true. So the example that we just went over, what we were trying to prove is a right triangle could have at most 1 right angle. So we assume that a right triangle could have 2 right angles. You could also assume that a right triangle could have more than 1 right angle. That's the same thing. And then the second step is we use logical reasoning to come up with a contradiction of the assumption. And then the logical reasoning was, well, if a right triangle had 2 right angles, then by the triangle angle sum theorem, the third angle would have to be 0 degrees, and that's impossible. So that was our contradiction to our assumption that a right triangle could have 2 right angles. And then the third step, showing the statement that you're trying to prove is true due to the contradiction. And then really for the third step, you should have the word therefore. Therefore, a right triangle could have at most 1 right angle or just 1 right angle. So those are the 3 steps of any indirect proof, or again, it could also be called a proof using indirect reasoning.